It is Tuesday, August 26th, and it is time to get in the weeds. I'm Jeremy Lambert. That is Nikki Bella's number one enemy, SP3. How you feeling after you got shot on? I'm gonna say something else. Shot on by one future champion, C word, Nikki Bella.
There's a couple of C words that I can think of to
What?
describe my situation.
Mm,
Confused,
okay.
um, crazed. Uh, can't think of any more C words that won't get edited out or get us demonetized. But good morning, everyone. I'm glad to be here on another Tuesday. I'm glad that we gave Joel Pearl and Jeremy a plan for the thumbnail because not a lot happened on the show. So it was big, major news of Nikki Bella shooting on me. So we got something to talk about as our lead story. So I'll talk about that. Yes, I will be ranting on Nikki Bella, every bad thing that I've always wanted to say about Nikki Bella, but I had to stay behind my veneer of fandom for the Bella twins and appreciation for their contributions as leaders of the Divas era, the much celebrated and praised Divas era. I will be talking about that later. I will be letting her know how I feel. I also will have some feelings on someone else who didn't want to give me my rightful credit. I do want to shout out, some people who are regulars in the chat who had my back yesterday. I appreciate y'all. I saw y'all. Y'all are seen.
You gonna be nice to the people in the chat?
Yeah, I'm actually gonna be nice to
Okay.
the people in the chat. You know what? Let's just start it off. Let's just start it off. He always jumps on here and wants to be on this show when he so chooses. When he just it shows up with his good old Kentucky accent and gorilla mask and wants to talk about old NBA stories, he'll come on here on a Tuesday and Thursday, and we have a good time, and we have fun with each other. You would think that he knows about ITW lore, but apparently he hasn't done his homework. Sean Rossap, you know I love you, brother, but I gotta call you out. I gotta call you out to start this show. I got peeped. I got messaged yesterday, Jeremy. I got informed after the early show on Monday Night Raw. I was informed. I was messaged by one of my friends, and he was like, Sean Rossap just mentioned you on his Raw review. And I was like, that's funny. Okay, let me go see what's going on. And then I see shout outs to the good brother, Power Driver Finisher, who was the first one in the chat, who was the shooter. He was an SP3 THH ITW shooter. The cops are out here trying to find Sean Rossap for his crime that he committed against me. Because I saw the tweet. I saw the tweet yesterday, Jeremy. And I would think that, one of my good brothers, one of my ITW brothers, Jeremy or Joe, would have messaged Sean like, yo, that's not what it is. Like, you revert course. But he put out the tweet and he was like, I love the fact that that Becky Lynch is shouting out Rick Uchino of SI, who's been a fan of hers for a long time. And you know what? I saw the tweet. I was like, you know what? I'm not going to message him. I'm not going to comment. I'm not going to be like, why fuck me though? Why fuck me? I'm gonna give you a chance. I'm just gonna get it out. I'm just gonna get it out right from the top. I was gonna let the tweet slide. Then I went to the Raw review. I checked out. I rewind back and I tried to figure out, and I saw him actually say it on air. Like, it's cool. Rick Uchino, who's like the biggest fan of her, and I know it's just a bit because of the overall praise that Rick Uchino has given her throughout his career. And my man Power Giant Finish, shout out to him. He was like, no, she's actually quoted the article that she's referring to. So thank you. So thank you to the ITW community, THH community, for always having my back. So I don't have to speak up and say anything. I was gonna comment under the tweet. I was like, nah. I was even gonna comment on the chat once I watched it back, but I was like, you know what? The shooters done took care of it. So shout outs to the ITW shooters here today, because y'all some real ones. Y'all know the lore. Y'all know the storyline that we're a part of. And I appreciate y'all pushing it forward and letting people who don't know the hell know.
Okay. 2, maybe 3 things. Number 1, I didn't see Sean's tweet. I don't care enough to view Sean's Twitter during, after the shows, whatever. I got work to do. I'm not worried about what Sean has to say. Didn't see it. Number 2, did Sean correct himself after being called out? Can anybody confirm or deny this? Because that could lead us to number 3, where I will message Sean and bring him on here and say, you are being summoned to ITW. I didn't even say you are being. I just said you are summoned to ITW. He's being served out here.
You are being summoned.
We are serving this man papers to bring him on this show.
We stand against injustice on this show. You are the jury. The chat is the jury.
I apologize for him that he tried correcting me. Okay, we'll bring him on the show. I know what the deal is. SP3 knows what the deal is. The chat knows what the deal is. I didn't see the tweet. Had I seen it, I would have corrected him. Now I know about it. Now I know what is being said. We'll bring him on the show. We got nothing but time here on this show. We got at least 2 hours. You know,
yeah, because we ain't gonna talk about Raw. What's there to talk about Raw? We're talking about this one segment, this one line for the next 2 hours.
Everybody, if you're here, leave a thumbs up on the video. Let's get this stuff out of the way. Maybe I'm smiling a little bit. There we go. Look at that. The smiles bring the fireworks. Leave a thumbs up on the video. Leave a super chat. Get your question, comment, statement read on the air, like our pal Volub, who is always super chatting. We appreciate you, Volub. Says Vanilla Fumble. Oh, I have an update. Well, Vanilla Fumble might be Sean Ross Sapp. Vanilla Fumble.
I'm Vanilla, baby.
Is the thumbnail. Jeremy isn't going to talk about Raw. Happy Lou Dorte, and it's disrespectful to SP3 and his work. Sean says he is not home at the moment, so he cannot.
Oh, you're touching grass.
Wow. I just said wow. We'll see if he shows up. We'll see if he shows up later on. We gotta make this correct. He showed up in his car before. Wait, who cares? I'm gonna message running from your trial.
He's like the baby daddy who's seen a person about to summon stuff, and he'd be running the opposite way.
I just said, running from your trial, you're now a fugitive.
He's just adding counts to his verdict right now. Damn.
All right, we'll see if he appears at some point. He's got 2 hours. I don't think he's gonna be gone the entire 2 hours. I don't know. We'll see. What did Sports and Things? Just rewind.
Yeah, just rewind.
He misidentified the source of Becky Lynch's and Nikki Bella's Sports Illustrated comments. Specifically Becky Lynch, who has been mentioning this for months now.
Literally the funniest thing, and this could tell you my history with lore. I've never been like the biggest Becky Lynch fan. I was given a job to write an unbiased list.
Fake fan.
So I looked at credentials, I made a criteria for it, and it came down to Becky Lynch being number 1. So there are literally like Becky Lynch fan accounts that have blocked me from previous tweets about Becky Lynch. And one of them made a compilation of every time that she said Sports Illustrated, and I can't even retweet it because he blocked me, I blocked him back. That's how it works. If I see someone block, now that Twitter gives you the opportunity to see the people that block you, it's like, oh, that's easy. I'm gonna block you back. Okay, cool. Because he could just easily be like, oh, now you picked up Becky Lynch. Oh, I'm gonna follow you back. No, I'm gonna block you right back. I saw that you blocked me already. Too late.
Becky Lynch, like she's mentioned this ever since her heel turn. So we're talking just after Mania, she's been doing
Yeah.
this bit. It's been a good 2-3 months that she's been doing it. But Nikki Bella took aim at you specifically, saying no one cares about Sports Illustrated. Where did Nikki rank? You had her outside the top 10. I remember we had this discussion. You had her outside the top 10. Do you think she saw the list and she saw she was outside the top 10?
Rightfully listed outside the top 10. I was right. It came back. Why? I was like trying to figure that out. When she said it, I was like, where did I have her rank? Oh, yeah, she was an honorable mention. That's probably why she's upset.
Wow. I think I argued for her to be in the top 10, but I'm also a Nikki Bella stan. I love me some Nikki Bella, some Nikki Sawa specifically.
We did have that conversation because I did say that the Bella twins is a better argument than Nikki Bella on her own. Like the Bella twins would be number 11. If I was asked to do 11 through 20, the Bella twins would be number 11.
Yeah, but Nikki, kind of stands above Brie. No offense to Brie. Brie was good.
Yeah, but they have a bigger legacy together than separate.
Sure. Yeah, I agree with that. But if you're talking about like individually, Nikki's accomplished more than Brie.
Yeah, but it's like Nikki Bella without Brie, without the Bella twins, she is probably top 20, but probably like 19 or 20. Wow. But the Bella twins push for the top 10. That's a push for the top 10. It's like if Steph Curry never played on the Golden State Warriors, that's probably what Nikki Bella is probably the equivalent of Nikki Bella if she never wrestled with her sister.
All right, but but what if Nikki got a bigger push because she wasn't attached to her sister? Though?
She wouldn't have gotten a bigger push.
But we don't know that.
I know that.
We don't know that. We don't know that. What if she had gotten the Michelle McCool treatment, where she was a multi-time champion, on top of the longest reign?
And what's Michelle McCool's most famous run?
With the tag team.
When she was partnered with somebody, right?
Yeah, so she could have been partnered with somebody else. So my thing is your Steph Curry argument. All right, maybe he didn't go to the Warriors. What if Steph Curry went to, I don't know, what if he went to OKC and he played next to Durant for earlier in his career? Like it's a what if scenario. It's possible that things could have. A lot of people like to say things could have turned out worse, but it also could have turned out better. We don't know. We only know what actually happened.
Yeah, this is true. And what actually happened is that her legacy is better with her sister than alone.
Okay, I don't disagree. By the way, but I also think
it's a situation where we got to see both. We got to see both with this situation. So
yeah, her situation alone was good though. Longest reigning.
Yeah, it was
champion.
It was, but no, that was with her sister. That was with her. That's not.
Sure, like, but that was as a singles. That was as a singles talent though.
But it's like counting the whole Michelle McCool title reign when she was with Lay Cool. It's like Cool that gets the credit for that success, not just Michelle McCool.
Well, they literally split the title.
Same thing with Nick. I know that's the difference. That's the only real difference. Like the same, it's the same thing with Nikki Bella, because the whole title reign, how the title reign started, then you could have given her be like, oh, that's 100% Nikki Bella. But no, the whole title reign starts with Brie turning back heel and joining forces with Nikki after Nikki says she hoped she died in the womb. Like the whole thing, the whole title reign is the reunion of the Bella twins. Like that's the Bella twins together, the whole title reign.
Cold line, by the way.
It's one of my most quotable or brought up pro wrestling quotes of all time.
Another mark for Nikki Bella. Why she should have been higher.
Well, but what was that segment with? Her sister.
She could have wished womb death on anybody. Ryan says, does this now make Brie or JJ Prime Bella? I think SP3 is rocking with Brie. He's in Brie mode.
I've always been in Brie mode. Brie's always been my favorite.
Yeah.
Primo.
Banger theme. Okay. Okay. All right. I gotta cut that off. I gotta cut that off. Yeah, Bryan Danielson would not exist as we know it if Brie did not make it out of the womb. What is his career if he does not marry Brie Bella? Who knows what happens?
He probably doesn't get that bad storyline when he was U.S. champion.
But what if it was worse for him? Maybe it could have been better. But what if it was worse?
I think it could have been better.
Brie helped, reignite something for him personally. What if? I'm talking about the kids and everything. Not the feud. I'm talking about like his life. He reignited something with him in his life. Yeah. What if something else happened with Bryan and he just didn't marry Brie? Could have changed the course of wrestling history. If Birdie and Buddy wouldn't exist, we wouldn't get future main eventer.
He probably wouldn't have retired the first time because he would have just been kept wrestling.
No, but what if he found some other woman who wasn't a wrestler and pulled him away from wrestling though? That's also a possibility.
It's also a possibility.
He's like,
I don't think Bryan would have had time to meet a woman outside of wrestling.
That's fair. That's honestly fair. He could have met her at the library or something. Danielson, big book guy, Bryan Danielson.
Big book guy, Bryan.
Yeah. He's like, what you should do instead of this wrestling stuff? You should just read a bunch more. He's like, that sounds great. I think reading would actually be way more productive than pro wrestling.
That's actually convenient, yeah.
Yeah. You never know. At the garden shop, he could have been there, tending to his weeds.
Bryan would have never known John Cena's rules, his house rules.
That definitely would have changed his life.
Yeah.
Maybe for the better, maybe for the worse. We don't know.
I would say for the better. He did not have a good time on that Bella. The whole Total Bella season basically got him off of reality television.
We need Total Bellas back just for more Bryan Danielson content. I don't care what the Bellas are up to. I listen to the podcast.
We need the Danielson family show.
Yeah, we do. That would be fantastic. Brie, you can't call it Total Bella. I mean, I guess Nikki would be a co-star.
Total Danielson.
Just Brie, the Brie and Bryan show.
Brie and Bryan, that has a ring to it.
Yeah.
But Nikki might get offended because she's like,
she's not part of it.
The only name that should be next to Bree's is mine.
She's a co-star in this. She's a reoccurring character. She's not the star. Yeah.
All right, let's talk about this because I was quite offended because I've had nothing but nice things to say about Nikki Bella for years.
Outside of putting her outside the top 10, yes.
For years, I was rooting for her on Traders, and then she made me look stupid for it.
Can confirm you were rooting for Traders.
I was rooting for her. I even rooted for her over one of my favorite challengers ever from the challenge, Wes Bergman. I was putting her over, saying that she Bella busted Wes Bergman at the round table.
Yeah.
I was rooting for her throughout her career. I used to have a whole thing where I used to call her the GOAT Bella. The GOAT Bella. Because I was appreciative of the Bella Twins' contribution to pro wrestling, their contributions to WWE. They created so many wrestling fans with Total Divas and Total Bellas. No, they weren't the greatest tacticians in the ring, but they gave us something more. They had star power. They had aura. I've had nothing but respect and praise for Nikki Bella for well over nearly 2 decades. And this is the respect that I get in return. What I say doesn't matter. No one cares about what I say, Nikki. All right, Nikki. Want me to tell you the truth? All you are a wrestling family dollar Temu version of Kim Kardashian. That's all you are. You want to be Kim Kardashian so bad. Except your Kanye West made you sign a cohabitation agreement and didn't try to make you believe in Nazis and slavery. So yeah. Nikki Bella, go sign a cohabitation agreement. Go deal with life in general. And stop trying to demean my words, my passion, my hard work. Stop trying to put down the GOAT. When the GOAT needs confirmation and affirmation of her greatness, I'll be there. When the GOAT needs someone to put her at the top of a list on Sports Illustrated so it can be quoted in promos for the past 3.5 months, I'll be there. Every Tuesday, every Thursday, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. When the GOAT needs someone to say that she had a great promo, to say she had a great match, even when she didn't against Maxine Dupree or Natalya, I'll be there. But Nikki Bella, you got nobody now. You show up on Traders with a bunch of your dumb friends to the point they call your team Bambi because they look like dumbass deers in the middle of the road about to get run over by Boston Rob. I won't be there. I won't have your back. I won't defend you. I won't root for you. You'll be left in the road like the Amish tag team partner to Danny Doring. If you know, you know.
I thought Nikki Bella's promo was great. I agreed with every word she said. No one does care about Sports Illustrated. What has happened to that outlet? Not the wrestling side. The wrestling side's fine. The rest of the outlet, they don't even do the magazine anymore. No one goes to Sports Illustrated anymore. Do they even do news? You know? Just list. That's all we're getting. Oh, look at this list. It's all subjective with these lists as well. I thought she was right to bury you, to bury Sports Illustrated. It would have been cooler if she like took a shot at like your direct name. You know what I mean? Would have been much better if she said SP3 of Sports Illustrated. Give a little publicity out there. I shouldn't bury Sports Illustrated. I write for Sports Illustrated.
Exactly. I was like, when you said not the wrestling side, I was gonna be like, oh,
not the NBA side either. We do great work on the NBA side.
I was like, oh, the side you wrote for. Okay, gotcha.
The NFL side sucks on Sports Illustrated. I'm getting a message from my NBA editor to be like, heard you were talking shit. I was like, no, definitely not.
You were talking shit out here. I hear you.
Oh, that's 100% the short for today. Are you kidding me? That was easy. That was always going to be this short. I just needed SP3 to do his part, which I knew was going to happen. So I didn't even be like, hey, do they cut a promo so we can make this a short? I was like, yeah, I know SP3 will do his part.
There's no conversation needed. After I heard that, I was just like, well, there goes first 30 minutes of In the Weeds tomorrow. Me and Jeremy talking about this. I was like, this finally something happened on this damn show. I was
All
like,
right,
it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And I feel like it's 1 a.m. in the morning and I'm watching Raw. I was tired as hell by the end of that show. I was like, this show, nothing happened. I was like, this crowd is so hot for this 27-minute opening segment.
Here's what we need. We need Becky to pass out the list, the Sports Illustrated list. Everybody. That's what we got to do. We got to somehow let her know, like, hey, what if you like printed out the list and just start handing out? See, number 1, right? Sports Illustrated says it. Number 1, right there.
And
maybe the next show we go to
have it small print. She was like, small print right at the bottom. You see who's an honorable mention? Yeah, Nikki Bella.
Next show we go to. That's what we gotta We got to start passing out these SI flyers. If you're going to a show, if you're going to Clash in Paris this weekend, anybody, get the flyers printed out. Pass out the list, the Sports Illustrated list created by SP3, where Becky Lynch is number 1. You know what I'm really mad at, SP3? I'm mad at the Osbournes. They're trying to take your heat, brother.
I know. I was like, yo, it was too funny because my missus, I've always said on here, my missus does not watch wrestling. And ever since she left the company, she doesn't want to watch WWE anymore. But I sent her the Joel. Shout outs to Joel, who basically had the 3-minute clip of Nikki saying no one cares what Sports Illustrated said. And I sent that to my missus, and she messaged me this morning. I wake up and all I see on my phone is her quote tweet or screenshotting freaking Kelly Osbourne's Instagram story, which is at Becky Lynch fan, not even at Becky Lynch. She didn't even know Becky, to the point that my missus is all about the drama. She's all over. She's similar to me. She loves to steer that pot. She private messaged Kelly and sent her the real Becky Lynch's Twitter Instagram account. She was like, "Oh, this is the real one. Here you go."
Kelly Osbourne tagging just a Becky Lynch fan was very funny. But for those that don't know the context of this, so along with taking shots at, well, Becky Lynch didn't take shots at Sports Illustrated. Nikki took shots at Sports Illustrated. Maybe Becky did this to get the heat off of you. You know, maybe once again Becky was looking out for Sports Illustrated and be like, instead of everybody talking about Nikki's comments and how no one cares about Sports Illustrated, which are not true. Everyone cares about Sports Illustrated.
Exactly.
I'm going to mention Ozzy Osbourne and get a response from Kelly Osbourne. So Becky said that the best thing about Birmingham had died, and he had the good sense to move to Los Angeles because if I lived in Birmingham, I would want to die too. Referencing Ozzy Osbourne.
I was just like, I love everything Becky Lynch says, but I was like, girl, I think that was a little too soon.
Kelly Osbourne, Ozzy's daughter, tagged Becky Lynch fan 2. Not even Becky Lynch fan 1. Tagged Becky Lynch fan 2. Said, "You are a disrespectful dirtbag." Becky Lynch fan 2 waking up like, what?
You know what I do though.
What did I do? Birmingham would not piss on you if you were on fire. Birmingham forever. Shame on the WWE for allowing such things to be said about my father and his home. Do you think WWE knew Becky was gonna say that? I don't even think they knew. Becky just went out there.
Yeah,
and was just
Becky
doing
Lynch.
heel shit. Yeah, she was just doing heel shit, and Kelly got worked by it. Thing is
worked herself into a shoot.
Yeah. The thing is, Becky probably saw this and felt horrible, and probably was like, "How do I contact Kelly? How do I make this right with Kelly?"
Yeah, knowing Becky, yeah. Becky, she actually cares what these. Well, I don't think she cares that much, but to Kelly, especially because it's something serious like our father passing away, I think she would reach out.
She wasn't saying anything bad about Ozzy. She was saying bad stuff about Birmingham. She was saying Birmingham sucks and that Ozzy wanted to get out. I don't think she wasn't saying anything about oh, glad Ozzy died. That wasn't at all what she was saying.
That is not actually what she said. That's probably how Kelly heard it too.
Yeah, right. Yeah, but she was just saying stuff about Birmingham, which factual. I don't know. I've never been to Birmingham. I don't know if it's factual or not. But,
You're just gonna say it factual.
Becky. I believe Becky Lynch. When has Becky Lynch ever told a lie? If she says Birmingham's a dump, I believe Becky Lynch. Paul Heyman as well saying Birmingham.
She did have her tryout there. So
yeah, it was a dump then. It was a dump now. Is what she said.
Yep.
So yeah,
good promo. That was an entertaining promo. That got me more into every time they've had a promo exchange. I've been like, I actually want to see this match. I didn't think I would ever say that at the beginning of 2025 that I want to see Becky Lynch versus Nikki Bella, but here I am. It's probably my most anticipated matchup of the whole PLE on Saturday. Which card sucks? Can we talk about that? How much Clash in Paris sucks as a card, as an idea? The crowd's going to be great.
Yeah, the crowd's going to be great. But I don't know. I don't know about the idea that the show sucks. I think it's a fun idea.
Maybe you're right about that. But as far as I think the idea of what I'm thinking of is the idea of running a show 4 weeks after SummerSlam, when you had an 8-week run that had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 PLEs, 6 major shows. 8 weeks in the 8 weeks before that, and then you have 4 weeks until your next PLE. I think that's the bad idea. Having 7 different shows in 12 weeks. That's a bad idea.
Yeah. I mean, they like to put the PLEs together because they weren't going to have a September PLE until they decided AEW was running September, and so let's add WrestlePalooza a month before. Oh yeah, they did that. The card is a Logan and John Cena. All right, it's fine. A John Cena match. I think it'll be a good match. I said it yesterday. I think it'll be good. Logan is very easily, Logan is. All his matches are good because they're well put together. They're planned out. He's very athletic. He's good at what he does.
The crowd's gonna love John Cena. NXT takeover matches.
Yeah, the crowd loves John Cena, especially babyface John Cena. So that'll be good. Becky and Nikki. All right, I think they've had some good promos, including last night. I think that's a fine match. Where it hurts is the 4-way world title match. This is just, who could possibly care about this 4-way match?
I think that's probably going to be the best match on the card.
Yeah, I have no interest in it. I just don't. I'm just not a fan of the stuff they've been doing with them.
Well, the crowd's going to be into Cena and Logan. They're going to be into Roman and Bronson Reed.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that, actually.
Yeah, I think I think because it's Paris, they're going to be into Becky and Nikki, and they're going to be into the 4-way. So that's 4 of the matches. I think because it's Paris, they will be into Sheamus and Rusev. That's the one match that I could care less about. I don't care.
Yeah, Sheamus and Rusev is whatever. All right, but you just named 4 out of the 5 that you think will be good. So I don't know if it's.
No, I think the crowd will be good for it.
Okay.
I think with most WWE PLEs, the in-ring action is never the worry. Like, you'll have SummerSlam cards that had Sammy and Karrion Kross, who no one thought was going to be good. And I think that people were trying to be optimistic about Jacob Fatu and Solo Sikoa, but I think in the back of our head, we all thought, cage match with interference, that doesn't sound good either. So there's always going to be that one match on the card that has the chance to not be good. I think with this one, there's 2. I think Cena and Logan Paul or Becky and Nikki could end up not being good because Logan Paul, I agree with what you said. He's good at what he does, but sometimes what he does comes off overly choreographed. And therefore it either comes off as very boring or very standard issue. And when you're working with someone like John Cena, who is very limited at his extended age, that doesn't make for the most confidence heading into that matchup. I will give them credit. The promo on Friday Night SmackDown was actually the first time since this match was made that I actually believed Logan Paul could win. Because the way Cena talked about him was very eerily similar to the last 5 years. Every time he cut a promo on someone before he lost to them, he basically tears them down right before they beat him and prove him wrong and quote unquote get elevated by beating John Cena. but it never really works that way.
I think Logan's taking time off after this. He just got married.
Okay.
I think he's doing a honeymoon after this. And it would be a mistake if they're going into the Brock feud to just have Cena lose before the Brock
I agree.
feud.
I agree.
I mean, I know they did that technically at WrestleMania, but it made no sense when Cena beat Brock after Brock's return after WrestleMania when it was supposed to be Cena's down on his luck, and then his first match after losing to Rock, he just beats Brock Lesnar. It's like, well, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Yeah, it wouldn't make much sense for him to lose to Logan and then, oh, we're supposed to buy this guy as, like, it's John Cena. Like, we know he's credible to Brock Lesnar. We know the deal is, but you should probably have Cena not coming off of 2 straight losses against Brock, unless the story is, well, he's not Super Cena anymore. He's just, but then Brock has to beat him. Otherwise, Brock doesn't look good. Now you're just beating John Cena the whole time during his
It
retirement,
basically
which doesn't help the end of the retirement, where if you want to put somebody over at the end of it, great, you beat John Cena. You did this for years already. That was the whole story coming into the retirement, is he couldn't fucking win a match. So he's got to beat Logan for a number of reasons, but he's got to beat Logan.
Yeah, I think his last clean win without any help is like 2019 at this point.
Yeah.
Because he won the Elimination Chamber because self helped him after he got eliminated.
It does, like, that's true, but like, it's the Elimination Chamber, so it's tough.
But it's still he didn't win. He didn't win that clean. That's not a clean win.
No, I agree.
A clean win.
I agree. It wasn't as egregious as WrestleMania.
Whatever. I mean, all his wins as heel Cena, yeah, they were egregious with the amount of stuff that it took for him to win those matches, low blows, title shots, Travis Scott. Like, yeah, it was a little bit overboard. So I would be nice for this matchup to be Cena proving that he could still win before he subsequently loses to Brock Lesnar and probably loses a lot of his big matches to end off the year. So yeah, it would make sense. I just like the promo because it actually put some doubt in my head that Logan Paul could actually win. So I think they've done a good job with that. I think they've done a good job with Nikki and Becky. That's been a very good job of building that matchup. Sheamus and Rusev, I could care less. Yeah. The 4-way matchup, it just feels so haphazardly put together. And for this intricate plan of Seth Rollins fakes his injury to cash in, it doesn't seem like they had a logical and formulated basically follow-up to that.
No.
It feels like it was better follow-up for the go-home angle of Bronson Reed stealing Roman Reigns' sneakers than it was for Seth Rollins cashing in Money in the Bank. Because that feud between Bronson Reed and Roman Reigns feels much hotter than the 4-way.
It feels hotter probably because it's also fresh. You know, the Seth match, we've done the CM Punk thing for basically since CM Punk has been back. I know the injury took time away from Punk, and so it wasn't prominent then. But since he's come back from injury, it's been, Seth has been there in some regard. Even with the Drew stuff, Seth was kind of lurking. And Seth was injured for part of that time. But when they've both been on television, they have been in each other's crosshairs. LA Knight and Seth, it feels like it's gone on forever. I know it technically hasn't. It just feels like it really has. And Jey Uso as a main eventer, people love Jey Uso, but the main event shine has kind of worn off. I thought Roman did his best job of like putting him over and saying he deserves it and really selling the idea of Jey Uso. But I don't think outside of, like, the crowd's still into the Yeet and they're still into the theme and everything. But like once you kind of get away from that, the crowd doesn't really go with Jey at this point. And I think he'd probably be better served being away from the title for a little bit. I I don't have
I think
much
he'd be.
interest.
I think he'd be better served going to SmackDown.
Maybe. I mean, but if he goes to SmackDown, they're just gonna put him in Bloodline stuff. Like I actually like that's why I'm fine with him on Raw, because at least he's not part of that. They have no idea what to do with any of these guys on SmackDown. Sammy's just back there. Jimmy's just back, and all. That's all they know how to do when those guys is together. It's like, all right, well, how can we put some combination of these guys together? So that's all Jay would do if he went to SmackDown. He would just be part of the Bloodline stuff. So I'm fine with him being on Raw and being away from that. Just have him do other stuff besides the title picture. But I don't know if they know what to do with him right there. I just don't like that feud or that match just doesn't have much to it with me. And for a couple of reasons. One, I don't buy Seth as this manipulative mastermind of things.
Seth is not been good as a top heel. I think I'm ready to like call it on Seth as a top heel, because like that, the difference between Paul Heyman and Bronson Reed coming out to interact with Roman Reigns in comparison to how everything felt in the backstage segment where Seth's like, yeah, it was my idea. I was like,
Great
oh my
impression.
God. I tap out. I mean, just like what am I watching? Why is this guy the world champion? Why is this guy the top heel on this show when nothing about him says he's a heel to me? He comes off too cartoonish to be a legitimately believable, menacing heel.
Look, maybe that's what they're going for. He's a cartoon villain, and then he's got his two big henchmen and his sidekick who rubs his hands together and is the real mastermind of things. But that's my issue with this match is I just don't buy Seth as this big mastermind behind things. And that's obviously what they are trying to go for. That's the whole point of Seth saw something in Bronson Reed. Seth saw something in Braun Breaker. Seth faked the injury to do the Money in the Bank cash in. Seth is pitting these guys against each other, and so that makes his road easier. We don't need to attack them. Look, they're just beating themselves. They're just beating themselves off. They're just beating up each other. We don't need to go after them. Like, I get what they are trying to sell off of this. I'm simply not buying it. I'm just not buying it. I understand they're coming to me. They're like, here, see what we're doing. Yes, I see it. I'm not oblivious to it. I have no interest in your product. I'm sorry. Go sell it to somebody else. There's plenty of people who are buying it. It's working, I'm sure, for others. I have no interest in this product.
Steph got his shooters. I'll give him that. Like, he got some loyal fans that will protect him and defend him, and they will even defend all of this. Like, well, he's still popular. He's still over. You can't change that in a few months. He's still doing his thing. He's still one of the most over guys in the company, and you just have to look at them like, that's not what I'm complaining about. That's actually what I'm complaining about, is that he's still so over and still one of the most popular guys on this roster when he's a heel. Like, how can we go from Gunther, who every promo tried to get as much heat as humanly possible against everybody, against every top heel, Drew McIntyre, who went from babyface to heel and made the adjustments to get heat? How do we go from all of that? How do we go from Roman Reigns as the undisputed champion, leading his own faction, talking in a cadence that would get him booed, asking the people to acknowledge him, and they would acknowledge him, and then 5 minutes later he would get them to boo him? How do we go from that to now what we got with Seth Rollins? But like, I think that Seth Rollins is not a bigger issue, and why more people outside of course, the Seth Rollins fans who enjoy all of this, why more people aren't complaining is because I think that like the vision is what it is. I don't see it getting any better or getting any worse at this point. But man, you brought it up, so I want to bring it up here. The MFT is an all-time loser stable.
Oh.
It's like we have seen this because you Jimmy have been a fan of pro wrestling as long as I have. But I think in our 30 plus years of following the sport, or around that time, following pro wrestling, I think MFTs is going to go in a long list of stables like NWO 2000, NWO the B Team, Four Horsemen in 1997, as a great stable that went way past the date of expiration. That's what the MFTs are. The Vision seems like something that you could still rectify at this point. MFTs, that is jumping the shark. It literally jumps the shark every week. Of like, we should have cut the lifeline of the bloodline so it didn't evolve into a different form. And this is the form. It's this ugly alien child who got eyes on his head. His mouth is over here. And we trying to pass it off as a human being. Like, no, that's the MFT. We don't even know what it's evolved into. We should have just cut them off so they couldn't reproduce. But here we are.
I don't mind the MFTs. It's not good, but I don't mind them because they're just a mid-card act on SmackDown.
They're a mid-card act that gets all the camera time. They are the Judgment Day without more charismatic and entertaining characters. There's one entertaining character, and then the bell rings, and then his entertainment goes away. Like, this is a bad faction. And I'm saying that as someone who is a huge fan of Hikuleo. I'm saying that as someone that has interviewed and loves Tama Tonga. Tongaloa. I've accepted all the bot 619s that he will get out there. I have accepted the sadness that is JC Mateo when you compare him to Jeff Cobb. I've accepted all of this, but there is no denying that the MFTs are a miscast faction in general.
I would like them more if they just stop doing so. Like, everything is connected to still just bloodline stuff. Like, that's my issue with the MFTs. If they actually got away from Jacob, Sammy, Jimmy, and just did other things, not main event stuff, I don't need them there. But if they were just part of the tag division and they were just doing stuff with the, DIY and Street Profits and Wyatt Six, like, that's a nice role for that group. I wouldn't have an issue with that kind of stuff. I think there's a spot for MFTs. I do agree that as Sol Sikoa is the US champion, which is still a thing, and the way they are presented, it's too much. It's way too much. Like, you just gotta get them away from them. They don't know how. It's like, oh, bloodline people, let's just put them together. That's all we know how to do, is put bloodline people together. You mentioned like the story has just gone on too long. That's the whole basis of WWE's booking, is things going on too long and not hitting at a potential peak, or not knowing when to move away from it. I don't know if we're ever gonna get a Roman Reigns Seth Rollins one-on-one match. I don't know if we're ever gonna get a Roman Reigns CM Punk one-on-one match. Like, do we ever get to these points? I don't know if we're ever gonna get a Roman and Cody 3. Cody is even
Roman and The Rock.
Yeah.
Roman and The Rock. Roman and Jacob Fatu. Like, this is why Roman Reigns, no matter what Triple H, Cody Rhodes, Nick Khan, anyone from WWE want to tell you, the reason why Roman Reigns is still number one is because when you look at the whole roster, no one has more dream matches or money matches still left available to them quite like Roman Reigns. Like, Cody, really, they're trying by like sowing seeds every couple of months for him and Seth Rollins. And I'm sure there's a WWE fan out there that wants to see Seth and Cody again. But legitimately, Cody has two. He has three. He has the third match with Roman. He has the Rock match, which seems like it's not going to happen. And he has Punk. Those are his 3 money matches. Whereas Roman, we just named double that.
I think Orton. I think Orton is one for Cody, but that's another one. Is like,
but they just did
it. We ever going to get there? Yeah, they did just do it. It was, I honestly forgot about it.
Exactly. That's why I did count that, because I do agree that is a money feud to do, but I don't think it's a money match anymore because they ran it and like you, who's a wrestling fan as well as a writer.
Sucks,
I know it sucks, but I'm guarantee you if we ask 10 people in the street if they're wrestling fans and they say yes, and we say, do you remember Randy Orton versus Cody Rhodes in the King of the Ring finals? I'm guaranteeing you at least 3 to 4 will say, nah, I don't remember
that. Roman and Cena could also be. I know they've done it before, but it was 4 years ago, 2021. Well, that's another match that is very possible. But yeah, Roman has so many. I just don't know if we're ever going to get to him. I don't know if we're going to get to some of these Cody matches either. I don't know if we're going to get to Punk matches, because Punk's just going to keep facing Seth over and over again. Like, this is what we're going to.
Like even going into the 4-way, sorry to interrupt you, but Punk and Knight feels like the bigger rivalry going into this 4-way than anything with Seth.
Yeah, they don't know when to hit the marks on these. They just delay it, and maybe they get to it, and maybe they just completely miss the boat on it, and we just never get to it. I'll go the women's, side of things. Rhea and Bianca. We ever going to get that match? So much can change in so long that we might just never get to it. I always think of the Dana White tweet of like when he was calling out boxing because they couldn't do Pacquiao and Mayweather, and he was like, gotta strike while the iron's hot, super fights, Silva GSP, Silva and Bones. He never made Anderson Silva against GSP. He never made Anderson Silva against John Jones. Meanwhile, boxing actually did Pacquiao and Mayweather. Granted, both guys were past their prime, but they at least got to it. We're never gonna get Anderson. We definitely don't need it now. But we're never gonna get those super fights. It feels the same thing sometimes with WWE. It's like, we ever gonna get to this like super fight here? Are we ever gonna get to this big match? They just keep stretching stuff, and then they say, oh, long-term storytelling. That's how it goes with things. I'm looking forward to Roman Reigns and Bronson Reed, though. I thought the promo by Roman was good. He did acknowledge that he's screwed up in the past, with Jay. He did give Jay his acknowledgement, like, I'm proud of you with everything. I love Roman when they booed Cody, and he's just like, interesting. To point out,
it was similar to the Seth Rollins. Yeah, that's right. No pop. Like, it was one of those. So it was one of those lines where it's like, that's Joe talking. That's not Roman talking. That's Joe talking. Interesting.
At least with the Seth Rollins, exactly, no pop, which I still have that drop because it's legitimately one of my favorites.
Exactly, no pop.
At least with that, he's a heel, so, he can, like, get away with just saying no pop. Saying it when Cody gets booed, it's that sneaky, like, assholeness in there, prickness in there, when, like, Cody's getting booed, and he's trying to say, like, don't boo me. Interesting that you're gonna boo Cody. My name gets mentioned. I don't get booed. Who's the real QV1? Who's the real top guy out here? Oh, Cody's getting booed? Oh, pretty interesting that you're booing him.
I think at this point, who's really going to give a compelling argument that Cody Rhodes is the number one?
Steven Jensen is. I
know Jensen will, but the compelling argument is, oh, he's always here. He's working hard.
Yeah. That's
I'm
Jensen's
sorry.
whole argument.
I'm sorry. That's not how that works.
No, I'm
That's
with
not how that works in pro wrestling. It's not the guy who works the hardest is the best. He's not going to be the guy who gets the biggest promotion, who makes the most money. That's Roman Reigns. That's Roman Reigns. It is what it is. Sorry, Cody, but if you're QB1, you are Brad Johnson.
Brad Johnson won a Super Bowl. He won a Super Bowl.
but
you know?
but Ray Lewis is the one who's the star of the show. That's Roman.
I've always argued for Roman. He's always felt like the guy when it comes to this. But Trent Dilfer was the Ravens quarterback. Brad Johnson was
I know he's
Bucks
the
quarterback.
Buccaneers.
Yeah.
So he's Roman Reigns is Warren Sapp or whoever you want to say
Warren
was the
Sapp.
star of that defense.
There you go. Yeah, Warren Sapp would be it, I would say. Rondé Barber over there on the Bucks defense.
Was it Dexter Jackson won MVP that season?
Dexter Jackson? I don't know about an MVP, but Super Bowl MVP maybe.
Yeah.
I think Roman's the top guy, but Jensen will argue for Cody. I just loved his interesting. Because again, it's so condescending to point it out. Because he doesn't have to point it out, He could just they boo Cody, and it's like you just move on. You say the next line, whatever.
I'm gonna come on the spotlight this week and just be like, interesting.
You can. You're more than welcome to
interesting. Interesting.
But to point it out is so funny of Roman. It's a good promo by Roman, though, setting up the Bronson Reed match, further setting it up. I think that'll be good. I think Roman will bump his ass off for Bronson. Roman will win, and it should be a fun match. Paris will react accordingly to everything. I think Bronson will look better despite losing coming out of it, because the goal is still to get Bronson over. And when Roman wants to get a guy over, he gets a guy over.
Dude, he's like the one-trick pony on how to make a star for WWE. Like, just look at the stars who have interacted with the bloodline or been in the bloodline that have gained something or elevated their star power because of it. Like Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, Jey Uso, Solo Sikoa, Jacob Fatu, Cody Rhodes, Drew McIntyre. The list goes on and on of the people that Roman helped during that 4-year run and helped since then with Solo and Jacob Fatu, and now this feud with Bronson Reed and what he's done to kind of elevate Braun Breaker in the last couple of months as well. He's the star maker for WWE. He's the guy you put in there if you really want to make someone, and they don't have to win, but they are just elevated by just interacting with Roman.
And Braun Breaker is going to get the kind of same treatment. Maybe they'll get to that match. Who knows? I don't have much faith that they will get there, but maybe they will get there. We've kind of touched on in the big talking points from Raw. Main event was not a DQ, so I had to talk about this show. They tried. They're just teasing. They're teasing doing these DQs. Last week they were like, we're in a street fight. Can't do a DQ in a street fight. This week, Seth still ran out, but he got cut off. They do
have a ton of interference every single main event.
Yeah. They still do interference. They still do post-match beatdowns and everything. But there was no DQ, so they're walking the line there with that. The main event was fine between Braun Breaker and LA Knight.
Why Triple H don't love LA Knight?
How
you in a world title match on Sunday, losing in the main event of Monday Night Raw? Clean. It was a distraction finish. Not even Seth drops his neck on the top rope and then he gets the spear. No, just a distraction. That's all Braun needed to beat bum ass LA Knight. I love the LA Knight fans that are like, oh my God, we in the main event. We here. We got a world title.
He might be in the pen, honestly. He might be in the pen. People think it's Jay, but it might be LA Knight in that pen, honestly. I've reviewed Raw. It was interference slash distraction, but it was not a DQ. My rule is a DQ. Look, if I made the rule for all interference slash distractions, I wouldn't be covering any wrestling shows because all these main events got interference and distraction and everything. So it's got to be a DQ. I'm okay with the interference and shenanigans in the main event. I don't love it. But I understand it's kind of part of wrestling, especially part of WWE at the moment. But it's got to be a DQ. LA Knight might be eating the pin on Sunday, honestly.
I think you're right.
I mean, maybe because he ate this one, they won't do it to him twice. So I do think Jay is the more likely of the two, but
Punk definitely ain't needing it.
no, I don't think it's gonna be Punk, and I think Seth is retaining, so it won't be Seth. I would have Jay stack all three men and get the title back on Jay.
You mean Jay Briscoe? Jay Uso. I can't breathe during my promos. Yeah, I'm good on that. Let's not do that. Let's not do that at all. Good post match angle with the brawl between LA Knight and CM Punk. Like, I think that's the feud that they need to follow up on after Clash in Paris. But I think they're going to go in the direction of Punk versus Rollins for WrestlePalooza.
Yeah, I think they're going Punk and Rollins for WrestlePalooza as well. I was trying to think of maybe they go triple threat with Punk, Knight, and Rollins if Jay does take the loss, and then they just go with a triple threat match. Then they can do their interference.
Then what's Jay's gonna do at that show?
He might not be on that show. He just won't be on it. Then they can do their interference in a triple threat match because they love their interference.
They do.
Yeah, I could see that. I'm not. I also see Punk against Rollins, but I don't know if they want to go back to that this quickly. Considering they just they've been doing that for, it feels like, the entire year.
But they haven't done an official one-on-one matchup since the cage match in March.
Yeah, but it feels like they've been in each other's connection for what feels like
that's why this would feel like the blow off. Like, I see some people when they were talking about the show WrestlePalooza being Bad Blood, I thought they were just gonna run Hell in a Cell with Punk and Rollins at that show.
It's possible they go Hell in a Cell. I know that's what people were talking about. I know people are talking really stack that card. Do you need to throw a Hell in a Cell match on top of it? You're already getting Cena and Brock. You're probably getting Drew and Cody. You're getting Punk and Rollins in some capacity. Are you throwing just Hell in a Cell on top of that? Or
why the hell not? This is the full court press, Jeremy. Full court press. We don't want. They ain't making it across that half court line before 8 seconds. We making sure that they don't get all before they even have a match announced for All Out. We want to make sure our two matches make everybody think twice about buying that pay-per-view. I am thinking from WWE's strategy now. We gonna take them out the box. They're gonna get no penetration down the lane. They're not even gonna get the ball to the 3-point line. That's how locked down our defense is right now. WWE when it comes to AEW. Hell in a Cell. Cody and Drew. Brock and Cena. We don't even need 3 more matches. We don't even need 2 more matches for a 5-match merchant ass. We're giving them 3 and saying buy All Out at your own peril.
Full court press doesn't work in basketball.
It doesn't.
How many teams actually use the full court press? And use it well. Every team knows how to beat.
This is a full court zone press.
Everyone
Not
knows
only
how to
are we
beat the full court press. Everyone knows how to beat it. Becky's gonna be on this card as well. Yeah, you might get Rhea and EO against Kabuki Warriors. You might get Rhea against Veker. They didn't address
It's actually a love story. If y'all didn't watch Raw last night, Rhea and EO is actually a love story.
Yeah, you're trying to give Triple H too much credit.
He reads Shakespeare. I think he does. It's basically Romeo and Juliet.
Read Shakespeare. I haven't read Romeo and Juliet.
It's actually Romeo and Juliet. It's a story about two love-crossed lovers who are star-crossed lovers from different sides of the world, whose family are against them being together. I just described both Romeo and Juliet and the story of Rhea Ripley versus Io Sky.
Yeah.
Started off as enemies, then became lovers. Developed a chemistry unlike anybody that we had ever seen in this world. But their families were the thing that tried to stop them from being together. Asuka.
Io's very forgiving. Because Rhea was being a bitch earlier this year. You lost the title. Get out of my business. Instead, she's stealing contracts, inserting herself into matches, dismissing EO, being like, this ain't even about you. It's about Bianca. He was like, what the hell? I'm the champion. And now, it's just, oh yeah, I'm sorry for how we treated each other.
Thank you so much for saving me last week. But I think my family doesn't want me to be with you. And Rhea's like, yeah, I understand, EO. It's been a great time together. And then Rhea starts to walk away, and Io's like, no, wait. One hug from the road? All right. And then they hug, and all you see in the background is Asuka like,
Pissed.
Pez. This has been the best story on Monday Night Raw. It's been we've gotten like a month and a half worth of mid episodes of Monday Night Raw, but Io Sky and the love story with Rhea Ripley, the family torn apart by love with the former Damage Control, best story on Monday Night Raw over the last month and a half.
I'm looking forward to that tag team match, assuming they do it. They might just not do it. I assume they'll do it. Do you think? What if they put the world title on the line in the tag team match, and the person who gets the pinfall? This is a terrible idea, but the person who gets the pinfall wins the world title, and then Vaquer just doesn't get a title. Vaquer gets the winner. Vaquer gets the first crack at the winner.
Whoever gets the pinfall in the tag match versus Vaquer for the title.
Yeah.
I like that.
Or I was just gonna put the world title on the line.
It's a three-way. A three-way tag match. Kabuki Warriors, Rhea and EO, and Judgment Day.
And then whoever gets the pinfall faces Vaquer for the title.
No, the winning team gets to face Vaquer.
So another three-way.
Yeah.
I like whoever gets the. I like whoever gets the pinfall, because then you get
because you want the can they coexist story?
And then you get the dissension of like, oh, is Rhea really gonna let EO get this pinfall? Is EO gonna let Rhea get this pinfall? You know?
That's true.
And you get more dissension there. That's what I would like. How does Adam Pearce not have a plan for the title?
Dude, they said next week you would find out what they're doing.
What's he been doing all week?
Women's World Championship, and all he could tell Stephanie Vaquer is give me another week.
What has he been doing?
I got your money. I just need another week to kind of get my finances in order. You know, I got the rent. I promise you, I got the rent, but I just need to work a little something out. Is that okay? That's what Adam Pearce tells Stephanie Vaquer.
What is he doing all week?
I have no clue. That upset me so much. I can't tell you. He's like, I have an opponent in mind. I want to put you. At least he said he confirmed that she's still in the in the title match, because it didn't make sense if he was going to do like a tournament that she would have to be in the tournament as well. She's already earned the opportunity.
I think she should be the champion.
The easy solution is Io and Stephanie, because they already had their matches lined up. The easier thing is also just make another triple threat and say the winner of Rhea and Roxanne was going to be in that triple threat, and you could have had the matchup on Sunday. But this is WWE. It's all about drawing shit out. It's not about entertaining week after week. It's about drawing stuff out as long as possible.
Becky should show up and be like, I'm the Women's Intercontinental Champion. I should just have this title. I'm number 1 on Sports Illustrated. I'm the greatest wrestler of all time. I should just have this title.
It's not just me that says that. Sports Illustrated says that.
That's right. And Vicar should just have the title. Adam Pearce should be held in contempt for what he has not done over this last week. No ideas. He ain't been doing that much. Gets on social media every week, announces, oh, we got a great lineup for everybody. You added one thing. Nikki Bella is going to call out Becky Lynch. Lied.
Which Nikki already said that in a commercial, the ad break promo the week prior. So.
And it was a lie because Becky came out first. So he was wrong. I got questions about Adam Pearce's job and what he's not doing at his job.
We need a performance evaluation for Adam Pearce.
Ooh. Could you imagine if we actually did a performance evaluation of him?
So everything, we would have to grade it like out of 5. Like highest score gets a 5, lowest score gets a 1. Okay, how is he at maintaining control? 1.
0.
How is he? 0. It's probably 0. Yeah. How is he at making matches? 0.
I might give him a 1.
I might give him a 0. He's not really good at making matches.
He made AJ and Finn last night. That was good. He made AJ and Dominic for next week.
It's AJ Styles versus Finn Balor, 2 of arguably the top 10 greatest in-ring performers of this past generation. And they're in a random match that was put together during the episode in the second, third hour of the show, 8 minutes, and it's barely memorable
okay.
on the show.
In fairness to him, we can't how the match goes is not his fault because
he only gave him 8 minutes.
But that's not his fault though. It's not like, oh, I only give you 8 minutes. He's not the person like in kayfabe. He's not like you only got 8 minutes. Like he just books the match and whoever wins or loses. It could have gone 20 minutes.
What was supposed to happen during that match before the show started? He only had material for a 2 hour and 10 minute show instead of a 2 hour and a half show.
Now we're getting into the too much of the kayfabeness of timesheets and everything. He doesn't. No, but
I'm talking about his competency. His competency is not that. It's not that well. Like he's only able to book a lot of his shows because the wrestlers make the matches. The wrestlers come up with an idea.
He's got to make them official.
He just says it's official. That's all he does most of the time.
I mean, I don't disagree with that, but he's got to make them official. I'll give him a 1. I'll give him 0. Okay.
He's an alcoholic. His professionalism is a 1 or a 0 because he's always talking about drinking alcohol.
Yeah, he's not professional at all. Very unprofessional.
Communication is a 1. I'll give him a 1 for communication. He knows how to talk. He just doesn't know how to talk well.
Yeah. I don't think he communicates well with other wrestlers. That's
me either. Yeah. That's why he gets a 1.
Has he made any good trades? Like, what were some of the trades that he made?
He just let go of Sami Zayn for no reason. He didn't get anything in return. They never announced that.
No, I know it wasn't announced. I understand that. They should have announced something. But we can't knock, you let Sami Zayn go for no reason, but then not give him credit for just basically taking LA Knight. I know it's not like an official trade, but he did just kind of poach LA Knight. Now that's negated by the fact that he let Sami Zayn go.
To be fair, you could say that LA Knight was a future consideration, considering that at the beginning of the year, Adam Pearce let go of both Drew McIntyre and Damian Priest for nothing to go to SmackDown.
Did he let them both go for nothing? Were they not transfer window?
I think the only thing,
window.
yeah, I don't remember the transfer window either. I think the only other people that went through the transfer portal were it was really all Raw, just SmackDown when you really think about it, because it was the Wyatt Six, the Miz.
Okay, here's
I think A-Town Down Under is the only one who went from SmackDown to Raw.
And Logan Paul technically went to Raw, but now he's back on SmackDown.
Exactly.
Austin Theory, that sucked.
Yep.
Grayson Waller, I love Big G, so I will not disparage.
That sucked.
Bailey also came to Raw.
So he got Bailey in exchange for all these people?
SmackDown got the Wyatt Six.
The Miz.
I mean, Wyatt Six, like, they were causing a bunch of havoc and everything. Like, giving them to SmackDown's fine.
No, they weren't. They were like off for a month when he got rid of them.
Well, yeah, but they were murdering people before that.
No, they didn't. We found out everybody was alive.
Well, they were trying to murder people.
No, they weren't.
What do you mean? Yes, they were. They were trying.
They were just badly haunting Raw. They lost. They lost the last time that we saw them on Raw. They lost to Karrion Kross. You don't need to trade them. You just need to put them against Karrion Kross a lot.
The Miz went to SmackDown. Braun Strowman, Damian Priest, and Zelina Vega. When did Drew transfer? He just show up on SmackDown? It's like, I'm just part of here. Because he was on Raw last year. He was doing the CM Punk stuff.
He literally was on the Netflix premiere against Jey Uso.
Right. When did he move? Did that just happen?
I thought he moved in the transfer window, if I wasn't mistaken.
No, because he was still part of Raw at the Rumble and going into Elimination Chamber. Didn't he win his Elimination Chamber qualifier? That was a match that took place on Raw, right?
Who was that against?
I don't know. I'm checking. He just moved this part as like the Priest feud. Like that's when he moved. He just went and faced Priest. Oh no, his Elimination Chamber qualifier match was on SmackDown. Yeah, I think he just showed up to SmackDown after the Rumble because he was off TV after the Rumble, and then he just showed up on SmackDown. But the transfer window technically closed. Maybe it got announced before. Again, this is all very stupid. I don't know why we're diving this deep into it, but the point is he lost Drew for nothing. That's a big loss.
Yeah, that's a huge loss.
That's a big one. Did he get anybody back for nothing? Like just
no,
randomly?
he has been getting fleeced by SmackDown since the beginning of the year.
I'm trying to think if he again just got somebody like randomly back.
He got Becky Lynch to return.
He kind of lost John Cena, if we're being honest.
He lost John Cena for nothing. The only person he gained for free was Roman.
Yeah, he got Roman. That's pretty big though.
Yeah,
that's pretty big. Pierce is he's iffy on his transaction history. Very iffy on transactions. You know, it's not great, but he's at least added a little, lost a little. I think he's come out. I think all this has overall come out ahead. But that's probably the area where Pierce has done the best is the transaction window.
I wouldn't say that. He lost a lot of people for nothing in return.
Right, but he hasn't done anything else good. This is what I'm saying. Like this is his best. This is his best quality. When you look at everything else,
he gets a 1.5.
I'm not saying it's good. I'm just saying it's so far his best quality is his transaction history. No, it still sucks, but compared to everything else, it's like, well, he at least got some people here. Everything. He's terrible at making matches. He's terrible at communication. He's terrible at keeping things in line.
He doesn't know what his team needs because they needed tag teams for a while, and he did get Stephanie Vicaire and Roxanne Perez from NXT.
Again, transactions he's done well in. He's done well.
And they got Rusev to come back.
Yeah.
Free
He's done
agency.
well in the transaction area.
And Penta counts as well as an acquisition.
Yeah. See, everything else has been terrible, though. He knows there's going to be interference and stuff in the main event. He didn't do
does
anything
nothing
about
to stop it.
Yeah. No ban from ringside. No, you're fired if you show up. Nothing. He's just like, yeah, it's probably going to happen. Oh, the Vision is in the main event match? Oh, there's other guys. We haven't seen the Vision interfere like 4 straight weeks now. What are we going to do?
I should probably do something about this. Oh,
See,
no, I'll just let it happen.
He does overall have the better roster. Like
Yeah.
Raw's got the better roster. Again.
Yeah, Raw has the better women's division, main event men's division.
Transactions,
yeah, overall,
he's done well.
the only side that they kind of struggle in is the tag team division. That's where SmackDown has them beat.
Yeah, transaction, he's doing okay. But everything else, he's terrible. Just terrible. Anything else from Raw that we need to touch on?
Oh, Penta losing. That surprised me because I was like, I guess Penta's not taking the WWE by storm anymore.
They stopped doing Penta doing WWE by storm. Here's you want to talk about like not following stuff up. Remember when he was part of the John Cena CM Punk match and Night of Champions? He's just now feuding with New Day, and look, we love New Day. We've both admitted and said that they haven't been as good as they could have been from where they were in December and what they should have been. Not even could have been, what they should have been. So Penta's just doing stuff with them. But it is a little crazy that he was involved with the Seth Rollins stuff and he was involved in the main event between Punk and Cena. And there was like, he just lost that match to Rollins one week. And that was it.
That was it.
Like, all right, you're
that was
done.
It. Yeah,
You're
it was
done.
like we're done with you in this feud. You're gonna have to do something else.
Yeah,
and he's kind of been aimless since then, because like he lost that match to Seth. Then I think the next week when he injures Chad Gable, and then he's been doing the stuff with New Day where they're feuding guys over a hat.
Yeah, that kind of rules.
That's what they're feuding over, a hat. And yes, Roman Reigns and Bronson Reed are feuding over shoes, but that has a different context to it than a comedic hat. I didn't think it would be this fast though, that I'm already being like, Lucha Bros reunion, anyone? Like that seems like the only route for them to go to basically feel like Penta is doing something important again.
I don't know when that's going to happen because Phoenix and Andrade are actually doing something on SmackDown. I don't know when they're going to move Phoenix over. If they're going to move.
Are they doing something?
Phoenix over. They were. I mean, now we'll see. But
they haven't done anything since SummerSlam.
Yeah, I mean, they were hot going into SummerSlam. Honestly, they probably should have just put the titles on them, but they didn't. Because I do think they were super hot going into SummerSlam. They picked up some big wins in those tag team matches. Yeah. I think they should win the titles sooner rather than later. I don't know if they will, but I think they should.
Yeah, they're not even in the mix for the number one contender. That's Street Profits versus MFT.
Yeah. It was a group that it seemed like they had plans for, or maybe they didn't have plans for, but they got over, and then they just decided we don't have anything else for them. So maybe they come back around to them. Maybe they're just letting the Mellow Don't Miz stuff kind of settle, and then they'll pick back up with them. We'll see.
We shall see what goes down there. Oh, my fault. It's Mellow Don't Miz versus Street Profits. The Street Profits beat MFT on SmackDown because of Jimmy and Sammy. But yeah, just kind of an average episode of Monday Night Raw. Good opening segment, some stuff being done for the main event scene, some build up to Clash in Paris. Nothing to write home about, basically.
Yeah, it was a show. I'm glad it happened in the afternoon. That was nice.
That was nice. That was very nice.
Glad this thing's over. All right, SP3.
Yes.
Takeshita. Doing what we feared he was going to do.
But also knew he was going to do.
Yeah. Using his title shot at King of Pro Wrestling instead of waiting until the Tokyo Dome.
Yep.
He's going to face the winner of Zack Sabre Jr., Ren Narita. Be hilarious if it's Ren Narita. Won't be, but he will face the winner of Zack Sabre Jr. and Ren Narita at King of Pro Wrestling, which means we do not have a Tokyo Dome main event yet. For the second straight year, the G1 winner has decided to use their G1 contract before the Tokyo Dome. They said, wait, main event to Tokyo Dome? I get a guaranteed spot in the main event of the Tokyo Dome at the biggest show of the year? Nah. I want my title shot before that. I don't want to main event the Tokyo Dome. I want a main event. Where's King of Pro Wrestling at?
Rhea Goku, Sumo Hall.
I want a main event Sumo Hall. I want a main event Copper Box. That's where I want a main event. What is wrong with these people? What are we doing to do the G1, the most prestigious tournament in all of wrestling, guaranteed spots in the main event of the Tokyo Dome? And they're just like, no. You know what? Let me not do that. Let me get my title shot earlier. What if you lose? Then you don't get that spot. It's dumb. I think it devalues the G1. I think it devalues the winner of the G1. I think it devalues the Tokyo Dome main event because that used to mean something. It doesn't mean anything right now. It's like, just random people are going to get it. The champion and whoever wins the number one contenders match. Not the guy who had to fight in the most grueling tournament of all time, of the year. Not the guy who had to spend a month going through round robin action, winning the playoffs, winning the finals. That guy's not main event in the Tokyo Dome. It's just this guy who won a number one's contender match at King of Pro Wrestling or wherever, or just whoever the champion decided to face. I hate it. Absolutely hate it. It doesn't make sense in kayfabe perspective, and it doesn't make sense in a behind-the-scenes perspective of doing this. None of it makes sense. It's all very stupid.
I think it does make sense from a behind-the-scenes perspective, but it doesn't make a whole lot of sense from a kayfabe perspective. I think that it did make a lot of sense, kayfabe and behind-the-scenes with Zack, because of the way Zack explained it. Zack explained it not in a post, go to the media and talk to them interview. He announced it right on the mic after he won the G1 that he had no intentions of waiting to the Tokyo Dome because he won the G1 in Ryogoku Sumo Hall, and that's a building that meant so much to him and a building that he had so much success in. He wanted to take his opportunity at the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship in that same building and be able to say, I won the G1 and the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship in the same building, and I want to walk into Wrestle Kingdom as the IWGP World Heavyweight Champion. Not only that, but next week after I win the title, I'll defend the title in my home country of the UK. He had multiple things. He had multiple layers of why it made sense for him to take the title shot early. Now, why is he taking the title shot early behind the scenes is in regards to Takeshita? It's because Takeshita versus Zack, that's not a Tokyo Dome main event. It just isn't. Zack Sabre Jr., for all intents and purposes, he didn't have the best opponent at this year's Tokyo Dome. But this year's Tokyo Dome, he was the star. He was the bigger star between him and Shota Umino. This year's Tokyo Dome didn't do that well. Ticket sales wise, I think Wrestle Dynasty actually sold more than Wrestle Kingdom with being built off of Kenny Omega versus Gabe Kidd. So I think that's, and throughout pretty much his entire run, Zack did not do well ticket sales wise. So Zack being the lead star or the New Japan star for a matchup with him and Takeshita at the Tokyo Dome, is not appeasing business-wise to New Japan Pro Wrestling. I 100% understand the behind-the-scenes reason. Kayfabe-wise, they haven't given us a good enough reason for Takeshita to take the opportunity before the Tokyo Dome. He hasn't given us a reason why he wants to be the IWGP champion going into the Tokyo Dome instead of winning the title at the Tokyo Dome. All of this is what's up to the bookers, what's up to the creative, what's up to Gato to figure out what's the reason why Takeshita is taking the opportunity early, and they haven't really explained it either well or at all to a lot of people. So I think that's the bigger issue with him taking the title shot early. Behind the scenes wise, I definitely understand it. And if the plan is Takeshita wins the title from Zack and we're getting Takeshita versus Tsuji at the Tokyo Dome, then I 100% have no issues with it from behind the scene, from a real life perspective, because I do think two homegrown Japanese talents, regardless of, Takeshita being more of a DDT AEW guy, there are two homegrown Japanese talents in the main event of the Tokyo Dome. And I guarantee you, if you ask New Japan after Okada left in 2024, if they thought that by 2026 they would have an all-Japanese main event for the Tokyo Dome, they would have called you a liar, because they would have been like, none of these guys is ready for that. But they were able to sign Takeshita to the dotted line, get him a part of the New Japan roster, so him versus Tsuji is a bigger matchup in Japan than Tsuji versus someone else or Takeshita versus ZSJ.
Here's why I don't buy it from the behind the scenes perspective. I understand what you laid out. I get it. It's still their fucking fault that they are in this position. And if you want to get to Takeshita and Tsuji, it was literally in front of you to where you didn't have to do all of this. Takeshita beats Zack in the playoffs, says, okay, give me my title shot at King of Pro Wrestling whenever, gets it before the Tokyo Dome. Tsuji beats Takeshita in the finals. Tsuji goes on the main event.
I've explained. I literally said this last week. I was like, the simplest way to get there was Takeshita not beat him in the playoffs, but beats him in the block. They were in the same block. He beats him in the block. He beats him at King of Pro Wrestling, wins the title. Tsuji wins the G1. That was the easiest route to get to this conclusion. But they made their road more difficult for them. I'm not gonna knock them for the road that they gave themselves. I am gonna knock them for it. I think they should be knocking themselves for that.
I'm gonna knock them for it because, again, I understand your perspective with the behind the scenes. Oh, and Takeshita and Zack doesn't feel like a big enough main event and everything. You put yourself in this position. If your end game was Takeshita and Tsuji, which we don't know if that is the end game yet, we'll see in a few months. But if that was the end game, it was right in front of you to get there, where you didn't have to make it. The G1 winner doesn't use his G1 briefcase for the main event at Tokyo Dome. He could have still used it for the main event at Tokyo Dome. So I don't give them any pass behind the scenes. It still doesn't make sense behind the scenes or kayfabe. It's dumb. I think it devalues the G1. I think it devalues winning the G1.
Yeah. I mean, the only way they make it make sense why Takeshita had to win the G1 is if they go with the more likely option for the Tokyo Dome main event, and the option that a lot of us Western New Japan fans do not even want to contemplate that being an option for them. But they do. The guy that beat Takeshita in the G1 block format, Shota Umino, getting the shot at Takeshita at the Tokyo Dome. Then it makes sense why Takeshita won the Tokyo Dome, because it was all for Shooter to get another opportunity at the Tokyo Dome. Zeno Hour brings up a good point of saying Takeshita versus Goto as the Wrestle Kingdom main event. That was never a thought process for them at all. But the reason why I brought that up is, what if it was supposed to be Goto versus Tsuji in the G1 final, and then they changed the plan when Goto went down, and Tsuji basically, they was like, we want to do Tsuji versus Takeshita now, so we can't put Tsuji in the final against Takeshita, so we're gonna have Takeshita win instead.
I don't like it. I don't like any of it. I don't like any of it. And we'll see if where Goto fits in with all of this. You know, we'll see if we haven't really had an update on Goto, so maybe he comes back and maybe it's Goto and Takeshita. I don't think it will be. You mentioned why it might not be likely, but we'll see. I just don't like that Takeshita is using his G1 shot early. Doesn't make sense to me.
That's fair. I mean, this whole situation, it didn't. I don't think it panned out the way that New Japan thought it would. People were not pleased with Evil making it to the final. There's people upset that Takeshita won the G1. Then you had AEW didn't even book Takeshita on Forbidden Door. Like, what the hell? How did Takeshita and Ishii have a match on Collision that was better than maybe half of the Forbidden Door card? And then he didn't get on Forbidden Door and still got one of the biggest pops of the night when he came out after Swerve versus Okada.
I'm looking forward to when Takeshita just completely takes over AEW and completely takes over New Japan. He's gonna hold all the titles for 10 years.
That was my whole thought process because of Will and Swerve going down. You got to pull the trigger. You got to turn up the cooker when it comes to Takeshita turning babyface with the Don Callis family. You can have Don take basically favor Kyle Fletcher, TNT champion, Wardlow, his new hire, and of course Kevin Durant of the team, Kazuchika Okada, unified champion, over G1 winner Takeshita, and then you basically have Takeshita turn babyface or get turned on by the entire Callis family, and then he just fights his way through all of these guys, and it ends with him winning the Continental Classic at the end of the year.
Yeah. Fightful Select put out a report saying sources in New Japan Pro Wrestling confirmed to Fightful that Toru Yano has taken a more important role within the company this year. We're told that Yano has his hands in a little bit of everything, including even some influence regarding the booking in the company. Yano is still working an incredibly busy in-ring schedule full-time with New Japan Pro Wrestling, competing in over 100 matches over the past year. Yano almost exclusively wrestles tag matches, even holding the never openweight 6-man tag team titles for a while. He's only competed in one real singles match in the last year. Gato is still the main booker in New Japan, but several talent that we've spoken to have said that Yano is quickly gaining power and responsibility within the company.
Give Yano the pen.
It's the greatest news of all time. Hearing that
Give Yano the pen. Give him the pencil. I want nothing but comedy matches, duct tape, shoestrings being tied together. I want all the Yano classics all throughout my card.
I'm with you. I completely agree. Yano and me would be on the same level there when it comes to booking. We need more evil matches, more interference.
No. That's Dick Togo. That's Dick Togo. You and Dick Togo have a good time with that. You and Dick. You go over there in the corner with Dick, with your dick. All right? Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow. Go in that corner. Write your little House of Torture storyline that got nothing to do with the world title. How about that?
I will write my House of Torture storylines, and they will.
And they will have nothing to do with the world title here. No, sir. No. Not today. I did also watch Stardom 5-star Grand Prix final over the weekend. Really great stuff. That final show, I would recommend a lot of people watching it. I watched mainly like the main matches on that card, which was the 2 semifinal matches. They also had an IWGP women's title matchup and the main event, which was the finals. Absolutely fantastic matchup in the semifinals with Azumi versus Rina. Rina was really like the breakout star of the entire Stardom 5-star Grand Prix. Rina's only like, I think she's like 18, 19 years old, and she's already kind of like feels like she's going to be like a world champion in Stardom. Like her career is just getting started, but she just feels so ahead of her age as far as her, knowledge in the ring. Her timing is so well done. Her and Azumi had this great finishing sequence that had Kurgan Hall. Oh no, it was actually I think it was Rhea Goku for the final. They had Rhea Goku like on fire. They were so loud for every near fall, popping so big. Azumi at the end wins with the Azumi Sushi and moves on to the final. Excellent matchup there. Really damn good matchup. The other one was Sari Inoi versus Momo Watanabe. Momo got the win, even after, he interfering in the matchup. It was basically her that got the win in the end. And then the IWGP Women's Championship matchup with Sarai and Konami was very well done. Really well done. Sarai has kind of turned into like one of, if not the top heel in Stardom. She's get so these loud ass boos because she basically acts like she's better than everyone on the Stardom roster because she's not officially a part of the roster, but she's wrestling here because she's the IWGP champion. She picked up the win in this one, and then post-match, Suzu Suzuki came out and challenged her for the IWGP Women's Championship matchup. So sign me up for that. I'm ready to see that for sure. And then the main event was Azumi versus Momo Watanabe. And this is like years and years of story between these two women because they used to be in Queen's Quest together. Momo was kind of like the senior to Azumi when she first joined up with Queen's Quest. And then when Momo turned on Queen's Quest to join Oedo Tai, she turned on Azumi to do it. So there was a lot of animosity there. Really, this honestly, it was the best match of the weekend. Better than anything on Forbidden Door. And I'm high on, I think that Forbidden Door did not have a bad match on it and had several great matches, but I don't think anything was as good as Azumi versus Momo Watanabe. Like the story of the matchup, the different pinning combinations, both women were just so hard hitting throughout it, and the atmosphere, the crowd was on fire, and they wanted to see Azumi win. There was parts of the fan that wanted Momo to win because she had become pretty much kind of the sentimental favorite as someone who's been with Stardom for so long but never has won the big one. In a lot of eyes, I would say that Stardom and the fans' affection for Momo Watanabe is very comparable to beginning of this year, end of last year, with how the New Japan fans were reacting to Hiroki Goto. Someone who's held the secondary title in the company, had a memorable reign with that, but never has been able to quite win the top titles. And especially over the last year, Momo's come up short for the NJPW Strong Women's Championship, for the IWGP Women's Championship, for the TBS title in AEW at Revolution, for the World of Stardom Championship. But hit this one, she would not be denied. She picks up the win. She becomes the winner of the 5-star Grand Prix. She now gets a title opportunity at the end of the year against her stablemate in Hate in Saya Kamatani. The emotion of the announcers, because they had like Micah and Shuri on commentary, and they're crying because this is such a big achievement for Momo. This is what real wrestling is all about. They make you emotional. You're all about the journey. And I love these matches, especially in like New Japan, in All Japan, in Noah, in Stardom, where it just has years and years of story in this one little matchup. And if you understand the story either by watching it or just being told about it, it enriches the experience of watching these matches. And Momo Watanabe versus Azumi was one of those matches. Outstanding final to the 5-star Grand Prix. And 5-star Grand Prix was great overall this year. Multiple match of the year candidates for Stardom, and I thought the final was one of the legit best women's matches of the year so far.
You know, the 5-star minute. More than a minute, but the 5-star
5
minute. Yeah, 5-star 5 with SP3 right there. I'm gonna have to catch up on all of this stuff. I watched enough wrestling this weekend, and I did not watch anything from Stardom. But I will check out the finals because it gets a high recommendation from you.
Yeah, I would say I would say the last two shows, the semifinals, which was in Kurgan Hall last Wednesday, had like 7, 8 matches that were either very good to great, especially Azumi versus Saya Kamatani, which was another one of like the best women's matches of the year so far. Definitely would go out your way to see that one. Honestly, I would say the semifinals slightly better than the finals, but the finals was an excellent show. It's right up there with Forbidden Door for the best show of the weekend. I did see a couple of people ask me for my thoughts on Forbidden Door and Heat Wave. Forbidden Door, I'll go quickly since you guys kind of covered everything yesterday. 0 Hour was actually pretty decent. I actually watched 0 Hour the following day because I actually went to my friend's house. Actually went out for once to watch a wrestling show. Went to Baby Seth from True Hill Heat. Went to his loft in Queens to watch the show. So I was able to watch 0 Hour the next day. But I thought the Ricochet and GOA versus Michael Oku and Jet Speed was great. That was honestly better than a lot of the matches on the main card. But good stuff on the 0 Hour. Cope and Christian, this was another step in the right direction. Similar to their promo on Wednesday, the way they worked this matchup where Christian was still a dick, still trying to avoid Luchasaurus, eventually came into the matchup and did a babyface comeback. This is how this story should go moving further. They rushed the reunion. They took a nice step in the direction with the promo on Wednesday, and they took another nice step in the direction of getting everything right with the opening matchup there. I thought Hiromu and Kyle Fletcher have an argument for stealing the show because that match was way better than I think a lot of people thought it would be going in. Hiromu reminding people he's one of the best junior heavyweights ever in New Japan Pro Wrestling history, and Kyle Fletcher is arguably the best wrestler in AEW at the moment. But really, really great matchup there. I thought that was the first great match of the night. I thought the TBS title matchup was another great matchup. Bozilla, absolute star. I knew she would impress everybody because she's only 21, 6 foot, looks like an absolute monster, just carries herself like an absolute superstar. I thought Persephone was great in the matchup, and she's not been getting enough praise for how good she was because I felt like she took a lot of the offense in the matchup. Mercedes Moné bumping around for everybody, trying to make everybody look good in the matchup. And I thought Alex Windsor was the one who gained the most from this matchup because she felt like more of a star than she's felt on television over the weeks leading up to the show, especially with that reaction that she got in the UK. And also got to mention Walker Stewart on commentary, big plus for this show. Walker Stewart and Bryan Danielson might be the best commentary team that's ever commentated a matchup in AEW history. Two of the best to ever do it, being together. Shout out to Walker for getting that opportunity. He was also on commentary for Zack Sabre Jr. and Nigel McGuinness. Another match that
cowardly not having Chris Charlton out there.
I mean, you never know what he's gonna say. I'm just saying. You never know what that wild card's gonna say. Zack Sabre Jr. and Nigel McGuinness put out an absolute masterclass. This was technical wrestling done right. You saw beautiful mat work, great exchanges, great reversals and counters. And I love the fact that AEW does exactly what they're meant to be. They're meant to be an alternative, but they're also meant to be a smorgasbord when it comes to professional wrestling. And you needed a technical wrestling clinic like this on the card. So brilliant stuff. My favorite moment of the matchup is Nigel doing his infamous 2 fingers salute and then looking behind him so he knew when Zach was going to come and then took his head off. Oh, man. Great spot. Great spot in that matchup. Love the matchup. And I love the fact Zach won it with a pinning combination where you leave room for the opportunity to do a rematch if you wanted to, but you don't need to because that was absolutely superb from both guys. Another great like technical wrestling clinic, but in a totally different way was Swerve versus Okada. This was like, you could have watched this matchup in 1990, 1980, and it would be the same thing. This was basic wrestling one-on-one, but with two of the best wrestlers doing it. So it elevated everything and came out to be a absolutely terrific matchup where you had the simple story of Swerve has a knee injury going into this matchup. So of course that's what Okada's going to go after first. But then Okada does that DDT on the steel steps. So then he's just either going from the bad wheel to the bad neck that he's working over. And all of it leads to the perfect finish of the matchup where Swerve goes for the house call. He gets too cocky after hitting 2 house calls. He goes for the 3rd house call. He lands on his feet. He buckles his knee. Okada just says, kick to the knee, Rainmaker, 1, 2, 3. I was like, that was the best finish of anything on this night. It was so simple and it worked so well. And then Don Callis is building his team like a basketball team, and he needed some rebounding and some scoring in the low post. So he hired Al Horford, aka Wardlow, to be on the team. And Wardlow, I thought it was a nice angle to bring him back, and I like the picture of everybody from the Don Callis family standing out there. I like Takeshita coming out and confronting him and kind of giving him the nod of approval before backing away. Good stuff overall there. Timeless Tony Storm and Athena, another excellent matchup on the card. I loved Athena trying to get the most out of this crowd. That it took them a while, but they got into kind of the closing stretch of this matchup. But Timeless Tony Storm, she's put together a Virtuosa 2025 Women's Wrestler of the Year candidate. Love the finish of this matchup, where it was basically 2010's John Cena of the heel works her over. Then in the end, all she has to do is put on her submission and get the heel to tap out. I loved it because it works for Tony. Didn't work for Cena that well in 2010, but it works great for Tony in 2025. Great matchup there. The AEW World Championship matchup is probably the match that's been the most polarizing for everybody. I've seen some people say it was like one of the worst matches of the year. I've seen some people be like, MJF's a horrible worker and stuff like that. And it just seems like MJF, anytime he has a world title matchup, he's going to get this criticism, because I didn't think that the Jay White match was as bad as some people were saying online. And I definitely don't think this was as bad as people were saying online. I thought this was arguably one of the best matches on the whole entire show. They went out there, they have excellent, they have brilliant chemistry together. They just know where each other's going to work. Their timing is always on point. The reversals, the counter work, it just felt like a main event world title matchup. It did get overbooked. You didn't need Bryce Remsburg to take a fucking nap after the 3 count, and he should have been looking at the fucking ropes after you botched the last time against Mark Briscoe. What was the point of Mark Briscoe coming out? Because he didn't even really distract the referee, because the referee took a fucking nap. And then he sees the foot on the rope. He calls everything up. You didn't even need any of that. That was so unnecessary and just messed up what could have been a 5-star matchup, and it just went down to like 4 1/4, 4.5 because of a really bad final 5 minutes. But other than that, great stuff from both guys. But the match of the night was I forgot the tag team title match. That was really damn good until also it was another case with the world title matchup. They overbooked the final 5 minutes. Why is GOA and Ricochet wearing New Japan sweatsuits? Why are they revealing themselves as themselves? Why are they wearing masks in the first place? But why are they then revealing themselves when you got a near fall in the ring? Like, none of this makes sense. This is just terribly overbooked, and then you botched the finish. So you messed up what would have been like a 4 1/4 star matchup and dropped it all the way down to like 3 3/4. But good match overall. Good match. And then the main match of the night was the Lights Out Steel Cage matchup. That was exactly what it needed to be. I thought it was better than the 2 dog pound steel cage matches that was on New Japan over the last 2 years. I thought this was really well done. Isolated violence. It felt like a spectacle. You see the bloodshed. You had some memorable spots, whether it was comedy, whether it was gruesome, whether or not. The Young Bucks with the gummy bears, the Young Bucks with the Bop entrance, one of the best entrants in AEW history. The Tanahashi response, the Ospreay response, Ospreay being murked and being bloodied. Just great moments throughout the show. Best moment of the whole matchup is Tanahashi's team stopping him from committing suicide. Great spot. Great spot. Best moment of the whole show. And Ospreay then doing the moonsault. Darby Allin's a maniac. Gabe Kidd might be crazier than Darby Allin because he did that with a bad knee. Yeah, we watching you, New Japan. New Japan community is watching you, Gabe. But yeah, great stuff. Just a overall insane spectacle, what it needed to be. And I thought the show closing angle, the passion of Ospreay, as y'all put it, was very well done in writing them off. You gave the baby faces a win, so you acted like you were sending the crowd home happy, and then you murdered their hero. Great. That's the greatness of professional wrestling, the duality of wrestling. They can give you the highest of highs and then the lowest of lows in an instant. And I thought the ending of Forbidden Door was well done. I don't think Forbidden Door will be in the conversation for the best show of the year or the best AEW show of the year, but it might have been the best paced AEW pay-per-view of the year where I don't have any problems with the match placement. I thought the match placement and the pacing of the show was very reminiscent of a New Japan show, where every match elevated in importance and in name value and star power, and then they ended off with their biggest match possible. This was the best paced AEW pay-per-view of the year, but it is slightly down from the highs of the last two of All In and Double or Nothing.
Anything on Heatwave?
It happened.
Yeah.
No, I did watch.
Good review. Just it happened. That's good.
It happened. I did watch Heatwave. Good show. Good show by Heatwave.
Yes.
It's just these NXT's PLEs just lack any type of like must see appeal to it. It doesn't feel like I have to talk about it to anybody. Like it just happens.
It doesn't help, and now they're moving away from it, but it doesn't help being on the same day as AEW shows because they're not going to win that conversation. Like Heatwave, AEW's over, and I'm like, oh, cool. It's over. But then I'm like, oh, shit. I still got to watch more wrestling. I got to watch NXT now. Like, you're not going to win that conversation because no NXT show is going to feel as big as any AEW show. Just none of them. It doesn't matter what NXT show it is. Sten delivers their biggest show. That's WrestleMania weekend. They're already losing out to WrestleMania weekend. Every other NXT show is like fine, but any AEW show, it doesn't have to be All In. It wasn't All In on Sunday night. Any AEW show is going to feel bigger than any NXT show. So they just lose the conversation immediately. I think moving forward, now that NXT is not running against AEW, there will be more room for them in the conversation because we won't be thinking, oh yeah, you had like some cool matches, but did you see this on AEW? Did you see what AEW did over here? Especially when AEW's running earlier. It's like, well, now you got to follow AEW. There's really no win because it's either you got to follow AEW, you're running at the same time, and you're not going to be as big as AEW. Or if you run earlier, it's like, all right, well, now we're watching an AEW show, and everything that we saw there is better than what you put on. That's why running NXT shows...
We're going to forget about you by the time this show is over.
So there's no win for NXT in these situations because no matter what they do, they could have their best possible card. I don't know what that looks like because their divisions are kind of hit and miss, but they could have their best possible card. Talking strictly NXT card, not bringing down John Cena and Cody Rhodes for a show. Talking strictly NXT card, maybe a main roster person like Chelsea is there. They could put on their best possible card. It's not going to feel as big as whatever AEW does. It's just not. But go ahead. Heatwave, if you do have legit thoughts.
And it's also the fact they ran a building that they've ran the TV show in before. And I don't know about you, but once I saw that building in Lowell, I was just like, this doesn't feel like a PLE. It just doesn't. Yeah. It felt like a special episode of NXT. They got to work on their venue placement. I think that if AEW ran a pay-per-view or a pay-per-view in that building, I would say the same thing. I was like, this just feels like a special episode of Dynamite. It doesn't feel big enough to be an NXT card. And you know, you got Lab Glass who says best NXT card would be all women and then Oba, Ricky, Trick, Javon. That's basically what they did at Heatwave. They ran 4 matches out of 6 with women in it. Like, didn't make a difference. The opening matchup, the three-way with Lola Vice, Kalani Jordan, and Jada Parker was really well done when you consider that these women like combined have less than 10 years experience. They did their matchup very well. A lot of my issue sometimes with NXT matches, even if they're good like this one was, I'm like, how long did they practice this matchup? Because a lot of the spots do feel kind of choreographed, like the finish to this matchup in particular. I was surprised Lola Vice got the win. And then it was announced she would get the title shot at No Mercy. I thought this would be an easy spot for Jada Parker to win, but they seem to be building something with Jada and Lash Legend right now. So
yeah, I think they like Jada. I don't think they love Jada.
Yeah,
I think they love Lola.
Yeah, I think so too, and I think her being used in the Lucha Libre AAA partnership has kind of been helped her in that case. I don't think she had anything that kind of worked in her favor to kind of take her away from the pack of women that she's in with, like the Jadas, the Kalanis, the Lash Legends of, these are our mid-card women. Which one of these are we going to move up to the main event, move up to the title picture? She kind of has been like lost in that mix, but now she's kind of separating herself from the pack with AAA and everything. So I was happy for her to get the victory there. I thought the best women's matchup on the show, though, was Blake Monroe versus Jordan Grace. It was very physical, very hard hitting. It felt like a grudge matchup by the way they worked it. Blake Monroe getting the win, no surprise there. I don't think that she's going to be long with the double arm DDT as her finisher, but this felt the closest that we've gotten to Mariah May in WWE. So I like the matchup a lot. The three-way, what happened?
Bullying wins.
Yeah, the person who fat shamed the other person won the matchup. The TNA Knockouts World Title matchup, that was decent. I'm gonna be honest though, I think it was this one or the mixed tag matchup, which I like the least. It was just decent. It's kind of fine. It was kind of there. It was a lot of stuff felt clunky, and then the finish felt very contrived and very WWE three-way trope.
Well, JC Jane, Hurt Syndicate member, was not going to take the pin, so you had to always work around that. And then the mixed tag match, they put the wrong person in this spot. The crowd just loves Chelsea Green too much. You can't get heat
They booed America
on Chelsea Green. They did the same thing leading up to it in Philly when Tyra May Steele and Tavion Heights are like, "Yeah, Philly underdogs, we fight, we grind," and the crowd's like, "Can y'all shut the fuck up until Chelsea talks? That's all we care about." Crowd's just sitting patiently. They're trying to do the Philly rallying cry, like Rocky out here, and the crowd is like, "Yeah, Drago, we actually love Drago in this scenario. We want the Canadian to whoop y'all's ass." Like, they just love Chelsea, and it was the same thing with this crowd. They're just trying to get the heat and everything, and everyone's like, "Can we just get Chelsea in the ring? Just like Chelsea." And then Chelsea winning was the biggest pop of the night. I was like, put all the titles on her. She should beat Oba. That's who should dethrone Oba. Yeah, Chelsea was just the wrong person for this scenario. I get they were trying to do the Canadian-American divide and everything, but Chelsea was the wrong Canadian, folks. You should have found another Canadian out there.
Plus, Chelsea is a main roster star, so she was always going to feel like the biggest star on this show. So, yeah, this didn't work out well. I didn't think the match was worked that well. I don't think the action was anything to write home about. If you just want to play a black screen and just play the audio from the matchup, then sure, yeah, I would say this is an enjoyable time. But if you watch the matchup, even with the crowd heat, it wasn't that good. And then what was the other male matchup?
The tag team match.
Oh, the tag team title match. That was fine. Yeah. Dark State won gladly. I'm glad they won because they were dead in the water if they didn't win this goddamn matchup. And Hank and Tank, I'm sad, man. My boys. Honk. No
what a reign they had.
They never let them shine. They feel like they're like Joe Hendry with the TNA World Championship. This company never believed in them, never gave them the opportunity to be good tag team champions. And then they're just going to be remembered as some guys that barely defended. And when they did defend, they botched the finish against Chase U. Damn it.
They had, what, one title defense?
I think they had like two. They had
Okay.
the culling and Chase U.
And then the Chase U. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Fine.
Yeah. I think those are the only ones I really remember. Or maybe they faced Inamura and Briggs.
They did face Briggs and Inamura. They actually held the titles way longer than
since
I thought
April.
they did.
Yeah.
Mm.
Almost a 4-month reign.
Right.
That was fine. I was glad Dark State won. I thought they were gonna introduce a new member, but nah, not to be. And then the main event is it's the one thing on the show that you should watch. I'd say if you have time, Blake Monroe and Jordan Grace, that's a good watch as well. But man, Obafemi and Javon Evans, they stand toe to toe with every other great matchup on the weekend. The lights out steel cage matchup, Hangman and MJF, Swerve and Okada, Athena and Tony, ZSJ and Nigel, Fletcher and Hiromu, Oba and Javon is right in that conversation of the best match on the entire weekend. And this is really the feud and the title feud that I think is going to carry NXT to next year's Stand and Deliver. I think that Javon Evans is going to be the guy who eventually dethrones Obafemi, but man, they work so well together. You got the big, powerful, dominant babyface champion versus the underdog, plucky babyface who never stays down. When he launches him out of the ring into the table, what a spot. That would probably be the most memorable spot of the matchup. I like Javon selling throughout the matchup, selling the rib cage after the fall on NXT the previous week. I love the near falls. He made everything look close. I thought Obafemi's timing in this matchup was probably the best that he's looked since debuting in NXT. A phenomenal performance by Javon Evans. Great performance by Obafemi, and overall tremendous matchup to close out the night. And Obafemi, despite the attention not really being on his title reign, he has delivered every time the bell has rang, every single time out, whether it be events Moose, Miles Bourne, Josh Briggs, Inamura, it does not matter. Obafemi delivers when the lights is on brightest, and he delivered here. And I like the confrontation with Ricky Saints, where I'm not surprised Ricky Saints is already in the main event picture, because he could have been here from the beginning, but you had to build him up a little bit at least.
Are you going to apologize to Obafemi for crediting him many months ago for saying he couldn't work a 13-minute match?
How long was the match on Sunday?
17 minutes and 43
Oh, look at
seconds.
this guy going 4 minutes over. 4 minutes over.
The Moose match was 13:37. The Inamura match was 13:19.
He's been working on 13 minutes.
Long-term storytelling, as I call out SP3. We pay off angles around here. Obafemi deserves an apology. That's all I'm saying.
Hey, he gives me a 25-minute matchup. I'll come on here.
Wow. Look at this goalpost moving. Becky Lynch would be so disappointed in you moving the goalpost right now.
No, I'm giving him credit. I gave him all the credit in the world for that Javon Evans match. Great match. Great match. All the matches you just named have been very good to great. So
you just praised his title reign. You said every time he's in the ring, he delivers.
Yeah.
All I want is just an apology for Oba.
You can deliver, but still not be doing consistent over 13-minute matches. You can deliver at what you're doing.
He's in that sweet spot. He's in that 12 to 18, baby. That's why I love him. 12 to 18.
He was like, I'm not wrestling for you, SP3. I'm wrestling for Jeremy.
That's right.
Jeremy's
I love Obafemi. Yeah, love Obafemi. I'm going to rank him number 1. Let me get a Sports Illustrated list of Obafemi.
Where does Obafemi rank for your wrestlers of the year?
He might be number 1. He doesn't do long matches, promos to the point. doesn't take time off or anything. He's number 2 beyond Roman Reigns. Because Roman Reigns is still the top guy. Roman's all hits, no misses, takes his time away, gets the biggest reactions, makes the most money. It's going to be tough to beat Roman. I don't care about your 5-star matches. Don't care about that at all. Otherwise, you got to go with Takeshita. Osprey's there and everything. I don't care about 5-star matches. Roman delivers the most when it comes to reactions, when it comes to box office, and when it comes to hits. Roman Reigns.
You tell him.
All right, folks. I'll be back tomorrow with Joel Pearl. We'll be back on Thursday, myself and SP3. Till then, let them know where they can find you at SP3.
On Thursday, I'll probably be, since I gave y'all the 5-star 5 minutes today, I'm going to give y'all a revolutionary 5 minutes talking about Rev Pro. I've just finished watching Global Wars UK from last Friday, and I'm going to watch the Saturday 13th anniversary show between now and Thursday.
I will invite Andy Quilden on Thursday's show.
Okay.
I'm not saying it's going to happen, but I will invite him, see if he has time to stop by on Thursday, and we'll talk about the Rev Pro more with the Rev Pro owner, Andy Quilden. Again,
nice.
Might not happen, but I'll throw it out there.
Yeah, really great show. I'll give my thoughts, especially if Andy's going to be here, because I have a complaint. I have a complaint.
All right, save it for Thursday.
We need more. Okay. I was gonna say it. Yeah, that's a tease.
That's a tease, folks. Tune in on Thursday. We'll see if Andy shows up. We'll call him a coward. Sean's a coward for not showing up today.
Yeah, Sean's a C word. He's a C word. That's all I'm going to say. Coward. I'm not even going to say the C word. That's another cliffhanger. I'll say it to his face if he shows up on Thursday. But yes, I'll be here on Thursday, 10 a.m. Eastern time. You can follow me on the Twitter machine at TrueHillSP3. I'll be live in about 45 minutes along with Top Guy JJ, not Romeo, because Romeo was there last week. So
running
he's not
from the
going to be
grind
here
as usual, crying about the Yankees. That's what Romeo's a C word. He's a crier. That's what he
didn't show up to Baby Seth's place for Forbidden Door because he has a cat. He's scared of another C word.
He was sad about the Yankees still. They'd lost 3 straight to the Red Sox at that point. They won on Sunday night. He was crying over the Yankees losing to the Red Sox.
Damn shame. Damn shame, Romeo. So yeah, he won't be there today, but I'll be there with Top Guy JJ to discuss last night's Monday Night Raw. So if you want more in-depth analysis on every segment that went down on Raw, join us for Rated Raw Review at 1:05 p.m. Eastern Time. I'll also be on the True Hill Heat YouTube channel with Kate from Fightful tomorrow at 1:05 p.m. Eastern Time with our 3:05 p.m. Eastern Time. Almost forgot about the time change. 3:05 p.m. Eastern Time with Kate tomorrow on True Hill Heat for a Ring of Honor Death Before Dishonor preview. Thursday, AE Ramble on True Hill Heat with Jimmy Macaram. And then we got Friday, a WWE Clash in Paris preview at 1:05 p.m. Eastern Time with Fightful Overbook's own Maggie. So join us for that as well. But in the meantime, just join me on Twitter, where you can see all my work, including me retweeting my 10 greatest women's wrestlers of all time list, because every time Becky Lynch says it on TV, I'm going to retweet it now.
The man behind Sports Illustrated and Becky Lynch being the greatest women's wrestler of all time. Appreciate you as always, SP3. Thanks everybody in the chat. We'll be back tomorrow, myself and Joel. Until then, talk to y'all later. Bye, everyone. Oh, wait a second. I didn't hit it stream. Blindfold match tonight, SP3. How quickly...
Oh, we did it, y'all!
How quickly does this become worst of the weeds?
I think that it might be good enough for us to watch it later this week.
Yeah? All right.
Yeah.
We'll be watching. We'll be watching tonight. and it could be.
What are we? What are we watching for
quickest.
worst of the weeds? What are we watching this week?
We'll figure something. We'll figure something out for this week.
Are we gonna watch bad matches from Paris?
I don't know how long that list is, but maybe.
Oh, we can watch bad Rene Dupree matches or bad La Resistance matches.
Are there good La Resistance matches? When Batista, when Batista shoves, the flag up their ass, that's cool. But
yeah,
is there a good? Is there a good La Resistance match? I don't really know.
I don't think so.
Folks. Get ready for the blindfold match tonight. That might be worst of the weeds this week. We shall see. We shall see. All right, folks. Until then, I'll talk to you later on. Bye, everybody.